Most gardeners think November is the time to fold the apron, hang up the gloves, and whisper, "See you in spring." But the truth is, November is quietly bursting with opportunity. You see, this is the month when nature slows down, but doesn't stop. The soil cools, the air settles, and something magical happens beneath the surface. Seeds that rest through the winter learn patience, and when spring returns, they reward that patience with vigor. What if I told you that even now, with the frost hovering close and the daylight slipping away, you could sow the beginnings of next year's color? Even if your hands ache a bit in the cold, even if you garden from a chair or a raised bed, there's still a world of beauty waiting to be planted today. When I first discovered that, it changed everything. November was no longer an ending, it became a quiet beginning. So stick around, dear gardener, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 7 perennials you can sow this very month, and how to do it in a way that's gentle on your body and simple for your schedule. These aren't just any seeds, they're sleepers, waiting under winter's blanket to burst awake when you most need a touch of color. And there's a bonus waiting at the end, a tiny November planting trick that most gardeners overlook. Yet it can double your success come spring. Whether you're 60, 70, or somewhere beyond, your garden can still greet each year with strength and grace. Because the beauty of gardening isn't speed, it's steady care, and November's soil, my friend, is still listening. Hey there, garden lovers. I'm John Thornfield, your companion here at Golden Garden Days. If you love growing life-giving plants, discovering gentle garden wisdom, and creating a little haven right outside your back door, you're in the right place. Each week, we share calm, thoughtful gardening guides made for those of us who believe that age should never take us out of the garden, it should take us deeper into it. So before we get our hands in the soil, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next quiet season garden guide. And yes, I know it's chilly in most of the US right now. Maybe there's frost on your bird bath or a thin sheet of ice on your watering can. But as we like to say around here, it's never too late for a little life to take root. All right, friends, grab your gloves, maybe a warm cup of tea, and let's take it slow. We're not racing the clock or battling the cold. We're simply preparing the ground for beauty to come. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 7 easy-to-grow perennials. You can start right now in November, seeds that don't mind the chill, that rest while you rest, and that reward your patience with color, fragrance, and life next year. So let's begin with the first one, a plant that asks for almost nothing, but gives everything back. 1. Purple coneflower, Echinacea, the healer that waits. The first perennial I want to share with you is the purple coneflower, also known as Echinacea. It's a plant that seems to embody quiet strength. Its deep roots help it stand tall through dry summers, and its flowers hold their color long after others fade. For many people, Echinacea is more than just a bloom, it's a healing presence. What makes it perfect for November sowing is its need for cold weather. These seeds actually benefit from the chill, a process called cold stratification. The freeze and thaw of winter naturally prepare the seed to germinate when spring returns. In other words, the seed learns patience, something many of us understand well as we grow older. Here's how to sow it. Step 1. Find a sunny spot or use a raised bed if bending is uncomfortable. Step 2. Sprinkle the seeds gently across loose, moist soil. Step 3. Cover them with only a thin layer of compost or fine soil, just enough to protect them from wind. The light, cool air is what awakens them later. If your hands are less steady or you prefer to avoid pinching small seeds, pour them into a spice shaker and scatter them with a light shake. It's an easy way to plant without strain. Once these seeds are in the ground, leave them alone. Let the frost do its quiet work. Come late spring, you'll begin to see slender green shoots reaching upward. Echinacea pairs beautifully with catmint or bee balm. The colors together attract bees, butterflies, and goldfinches, all the life that keeps a garden joyful. The plants come back stronger every summer, asking for little more than sunlight and space. Planting Echinacea in November is a lesson in trust. You're not rushing nature, you're working with it. 2. Black-eyed Susan, Rudbeckia, the sunshine that stays. The second perennial is the black-eyed Susan, or Rudbeckia. If Echinacea is the quiet strength of the garden, then Rudbeckia is its steady joy. These golden petals with deep brown centers bring the look of sunlight itself into your yard. Most gardeners think of Rudbeckia as a spring sowing plant, but fall is actually its secret season. When planted in November, the seeds rest through the winter, letting the freeze and thaw naturally soften their outer shell. By the time spring arrives, they're ready to wake without your help. Here's how to make it gentle and simple. Step 1. Choose a shallow tray, wide pot, or a raised planter so you don't have to bend down. Step 2. Fill it with a light mix of potting soil and sand. Rudbeckia doesn't enjoy heavy or soggy soil. Step 3. Sprinkle the seeds evenly, then press them gently into the surface with your fingertips or the flat side of a spoon. No need to bury them. Just mist lightly with water, place the planter outside, and let nature do the rest. Rain and snow will keep the moisture balanced. By late April or May, you'll notice small green rosettes forming. Leave them be. Once the warmth settles in, they'll burst into golden bloom, often lasting from June until the first frost. Rudbeckia is a favorite for older gardeners because it asks for very little. It tolerates drought, resists pests, and thrives in neglect. Once established, you can simply sit back and watch it light up your yard. For easier care, surround them with mulch or shredded leaves to prevent weeds. That way, you spend less time bending and more time enjoying the view. When those bright flowers sway in the summer breeze, they'll remind you of this cool November moment when you gave them a chance to grow. 3. Heuchera, coral bells. The subtle star. Now for something a little less common but quietly stunning heuchera, known as coral bells. Most gardeners skip it in November because it doesn't have the big, flashy flowers of a summer perennial. But heuchera offers a beauty of its own. Its leaves. Rich in color from deep burgundy to silver green, they bring texture and warmth to the garden year-round. What makes heuchera perfect for November is that it prefers to settle its roots while the air is cool and the soil is still workable. Unlike many perennials, it doesn't rush to sprout. The calm of late fall gives it a steady start. Here's how to sow it easily. Step 1. Fill a broad container or seed tray with light, well-draining soil. You can mix half potting soil with half fine compost. Step 2. Sprinkle the seeds across the surface. They're very small, so take your time. Step 3. Press them gently into the soil, but don't cover them. They need light to germinate when spring comes. Leave the container outdoors in a protected corner, perhaps near a wall or under a small overhang. The seeds will feel the natural rhythm of winter and begin to stir once daylight strengthens. If kneeling or bending is difficult, place your tray on a sturdy bench or table outside. Gardening should never feel like strain, it should feel like peace. Heuchera is ideal for partial shade and pairs beautifully with early spring bulbs such as small daffodils or crocuses. When the bulbs bloom and fade, heuchera's leaves will step in to fill the space with color and shape. By mid-spring, you'll see soft, velvety leaves spreading in quiet confidence. They won't demand much, just occasional water and light. Heuchera is a reminder that not everything in the garden has to shout for attention. Some plants, like some people, add grace simply by being steady and enduring. When you garden in November, you're doing something that takes faith. The ground looks tired, the trees are bare, and the air carries a hint of stillness. Yet here you are planting what no one else sees yet. There's a special kind of courage in that. Each of these perennials, Echinacea, Rudbeckia, and Heuchera, teaches the same quiet lesson. Growth doesn't always look like action. Sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's waiting. And maybe that's why November gardening speaks so deeply to those of us over 60. We understand that life has seasons too, and that resting doesn't mean stopping. So as you sow these seeds, think of it as sowing hope, slow, steady, and certain. The kind that wakes up exactly when the world is ready for it. 4. Lenten Rose, Helleborus, the winter bloom of faith. Our fourth perennial is one that feels almost miraculous, the Lenten Rose, or Helleborus. It's one of the few flowers brave enough to bloom while snow still lies on the ground. For gardeners who love to see life pushing through the cold, this plant is pure grace. Sowing Helleborus in November is a gift to your future self. These seeds prefer a long dormancy period. They need that long, slow sleep to prepare for spring. In fact, many professionals purposely sow them now because warmth makes them stubborn to sprout. The cold wakes their patience. Here's how to do it. Step 1. Choose a shaded spot or a container that can stay outdoors but protected from harsh wind. Step 2. Fill it with moist, rich soil. Add a handful of leaf mold or fine compost if you have it. Step 3. Sow the seeds about a 1/4 inch deep and cover them gently with soil. Then, let nature take over. Leave them outside all winter. The frost, snow, and moisture are part of the process. Come late spring or early summer, the first tender leaves may appear. Now, this is not a plant for the impatient gardener, but for someone who's learned that good things take time, it's a perfect companion. Once established, the Lenten rose will bloom when almost nothing else does, sometimes even when frost dusts the petals. It asks little, offers much, and brings beauty when the garden feels asleep. For many seniors, it becomes a quiet friend in the still months, a reminder that even the coldest seasons carry life. 5. Catmint, Nepeta, the easy companion. Number 5 on our list is the catmint, or Nepeta, one of the easiest, most forgiving perennials you can grow. Unlike its cousin, catnip, catmint behaves itself. It doesn't spread wildly, and it rewards even minimal care with long, fragrant blooms that bees absolutely adore. November sowing suits catmint perfectly. The seeds are small and light, and the gentle cycles of freezing and thawing in late fall help them settle into the soil. Here's how to sow it simply. Step 1. Pick a spot with good sunlight, or if you prefer container gardening, use a pot about 10 inches deep. Step 2. Loosen the soil with a trowel or small fork if your grip isn't as strong these days. Use a padded-handled tool for comfort. Step 3. Sprinkle the seeds evenly across the surface and lightly rake or pat them in. Don't bury them deep. Step 4. Leave the pot or bed outdoors. The cold will take care of the rest. By late spring, you'll see silvery green stems appear, soon topped with soft lavender blue flowers. Catmint is drought tolerant and requires very little maintenance. A light trim after the first bloom will encourage a second flush later in summer. For older gardeners, catmint is a joy because it's fragrant, long-blooming, and forgiving. You can plant it along a walkway or near a seating area where the scent drifts by each time you step outside. And if you enjoy watching pollinators, this is your plant. It will draw bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds, like a magnet turning even a small corner of your garden into a living story. 6. Showy stonecrop, sedum, the resilient beauty. Next, let's look at a plant that thrives on neglect, the showy stonecrop, a member of the sedum family. If you've ever wanted a garden that stays alive no matter what life throws at you, this plant might become your favorite. Sedum is a succulent perennial, meaning it stores water in its thick leaves. That makes it perfect for gardeners who prefer not to water often or who live in areas where summers get hot and dry. Sowing sedum in November might sound unusual, but it's actually a smart move. Cool soil encourages the roots to develop deeply before the heat of summer returns. Here's how to sow it. Step 1. Prepare a patch of sandy or gravelly soil, or fill a pot with a gritty mix, half soil, half sand. Step 2. Scatter the seeds lightly over the surface and press them in gently. No need to cover them much. Step 3. Keep the soil barely moist until the first frosts arrive. Then let nature take over. By next summer, you'll see tidy clusters of fleshy leaves topped with star-shaped pink or red flowers. They bloom in late summer and hold their color even as fall arrives. What makes sedum special for seniors is its durability. It tolerates heat, drought, and even poor soil, yet it still manages to look elegant. Once planted, it asks almost nothing from you. In a way, sedum reflects the gardener's journey: resilient, understated, and quietly strong. 7. Threadleaf coreopsis, the summer glow in waiting. Finally, number 7, threadleaf coreopsis. This plant might just be the definition of cheerful endurance. With its fine feathery leaves and golden flowers, it looks delicate but thrives in nearly any condition. Coreopsis seeds love cool planting. When sown in November, they naturally overwinter, preparing for a vigorous burst of color in early summer. Here's the best method. Step 1. Pick a sunny, well-drained spot or a medium-sized container. Step 2. Loosen the soil gently. Sprinkle the seeds thinly, and cover them with a very light layer of compost. Step 3. Press them down softly with your palm to ensure good contact with the soil. They'll rest quietly through the winter and begin to sprout once the days warm. By June, you'll have a sea of bright yellow blooms that dance in the slightest breeze. Coreopsis is another low-maintenance gem, drought-tolerant, hardy, and self-seeding. Many older gardeners love it because once established, it takes care of itself. It's also deer-resistant, meaning less worry about damage. Every bloom looks like a little burst of sunshine, and after a few seasons, it often spreads gently, filling spaces with effortless beauty. Now let's take a quiet moment. If you've been enjoying this so far, if the thought of these seeds resting under the November soil brings you a little comfort, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to Golden Garden Days, and you'll receive more gentle, practical guides like this every week. And if you're already part of our growing community, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which of these perennials you're planning to try this year. Maybe it's one you've grown before, or maybe it's your first time giving November planting a chance. You can also share a little about where you garden, whether it's a city balcony, a suburban backyard, or a small patch by the porch steps. Every space matters. Every bit of soil tells a story. Gardening after 60 isn't about doing more. It's about doing meaningful. It's about connecting with the earth, with memory, and with others who understand that even in the quiet seasons, growth continues. So, take a deep breath, sip something warm, and let's finish strong. The final stretch of this guide includes one more secret, a small, often overlooked planting method that can double your spring success. Now that we've walked through 7 beautiful perennials you can sow this November, let me share something special. A quiet secret that can make all the difference between a few weak sprouts and a garden full of strong bloomers next spring. It's something few gardeners talk about, but it's simple enough that anyone can do it, no matter your age or skill level. The secret is this: pre-soaking your seeds overnight before sowing. Fill a small cup or bowl with lukewarm water around the temperature you'd use for a baby's bath and drop your seeds in before bed. Let them soak for 8 to 12 hours. By morning, the seed coats will have softened, allowing moisture to enter more easily once planted. When you plant them after this soak, they wake faster, root deeper, and resist rot far better than dry-sown seeds. For seniors, this little habit can save effort and disappointment later. You'll sow fewer seeds but get better results. It's a simple shift that pays back in color, confidence, and time. You can use this trick for Echinacea, Rudbeckia, Coreopsis, and even catmint. For very fine seeds, wrap them in a small piece of paper towel before soaking so they don't wash away. Then scatter them gently once they've plumped slightly. It may seem like a small thing, but in gardening, small things often carry the most grace. While we're sharing quiet truths, here's another one, something most people overlook about November gardening. Soil in November, though cool, still holds warmth from the summer months. That slow release of heat is gentle, consistent, and steady. It's perfect for root development. When you sow perennials now, you're allowing them to take advantage of that lingering warmth without the harshness of summer Sunday. The result is a sturdier, more balanced plant come spring. It's like giving your garden a calm head start, a chance to prepare in peace. And at this stage of life, that feels familiar, doesn't it? We've all learned that quiet preparation often leads to the most lasting results. And there you have it, 7 perennials you can sow in November, each with its own rhythm, its own quiet story. The purple coneflower, standing tall in resilience. The black-eyed Susan, bringing sunlight where others fade. The heuchera, whose leaves stay faithful through the seasons. The Lenten rose, blooming while snow still whispers across the ground. The catmint, steady and fragrant. The showy stone crop, patient and strong. And the threadleaf coreopsis, holding the glow of summer long after it's gone. Together, they form more than just a garden. They form a living reminder that time-like soil is still generous, even when it seems still. Many people see November as an ending, but gardeners, especially those who've seen a few more seasons, know better. November is a bridge, a time to prepare, reflect, and quietly believe in what's to come. As we grow older, our gardens often become extensions of our stories. Every perennial planted is a note of trust, a promise written in soil. And every bloom that returns each year is proof that patience is never wasted. If you've ever thought your gardening days were behind you, I hope this video reminds you that they aren't. You may not lift heavy tools anymore, but you lift something far more powerful, the wisdom of experience. The garden doesn't need your speed, it needs your attention, it needs your kindness. So plant these seeds this November, not as chores, but as small acts of hope. When spring arrives and the first green shoots push through the soil, you'll see not just plants, you'll see your care made visible. Before we close, let me share one final truth, one that doesn't come from a packet of seeds, but from the heart. Studies now show that light gardening, even 10 or 15 minutes a day, lowers stress, sharpens memory, and keeps the body flexible. For those of us over 60, it's not just a pastime. It's one of the simplest, most natural ways to stay strong and clear-minded. But beyond the science, there's something deeper. Working in the soil gives us rhythm and meaning. It reminds us that life doesn't rush, and neither should we. So even if all you do this November is step outside, breathe in the cool air, and press a few seeds into the earth, you've already done something beautiful. If this guide brought a little light to your day or helped you see your garden in a new way, I'd be grateful if you'd give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Golden Garden Days. Each week, we explore gentle gardening practices made especially for older gardeners, practical, simple, and filled with peace. In the comments below, tell me which perennial spoke to you most today. Was it the strength of the coneflower, the cheer of the black-eyed Susan, or the calm beauty of the Lenten rose? I read every comment and love hearing your stories, especially the ones that start with, "I planted this years ago, and it still comes back." And if you're just joining us, welcome to our community. This channel isn't about perfection. It's about growing slowly, intentionally, and together. So, until next time, remember this. Keep your hands in the soil, your heart in the garden, and your days golden.